This is Gesher, the podcast that's bridging the gap between the Jewish and evangelical Christian communities with conversations that matter. Here's your host, Ty Perry, with the Friends of Israel Gospel Ministry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Gesher. If you've been listening lately, you know that I've been featuring interviews with people who've been affected by the October 7th attack by Hamas in Israel and the subsequent war. The testimonies and footage of that attack are heart-wrenching as we've been watching the news coverage on our screens. But for most of us, it remains a tragedy thousands of miles across the ocean. For Israelis, though, it's something that happened just down the street. Several years ago, while doing some pro-Israel advocacy work at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, I met Sivan Oved. At the time, she was serving with a Jewish agency as a Campus Israel Fellow, working to strengthen the ties between Jewish students in Israel. Today, 9 years later, Sivan lives with her husband and children at a kibbutz near Sderot, just 7 miles from the border with Gaza. And she's here to tell her story. Sivan, welcome to Gesher.
Hi, Ty. Thank you for having me.
Well, Sivan, it's an honor to reconnect with you after 9 years. I still can't believe that it's been that long.
Likewise.
So much has happened in our lives and in the world since then. But I want to get right to talking about the attack, Hamas's attack. Where were you on October 7th or when you first heard about the October 7th attack?
Yes, so unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, I was in Sderot. So I was born and grew up in Sderot. My parents, when they moved to Israel, decided to stay there. And it all happened when I was 14, the Qassams and Hamas and the rising of terror organizations in Gaza, etc., etc. 20 years go by, and I live in a kibbutz near Sderot because when I got married and decided to start a family of my own, I told my husband that I won't be able, under any circumstances, to live in Sderot, carry a child, going through pregnancy, especially having a newborn under rockets. And it's not like we have rockets every day. It's the terror element, like it can happen any minute.
Sure. And
so we moved to a kibbutz nearby. And we had a Shabbat dinner with my mom. So since my dad passed away a year and a half ago. So since then, we really make sure that someone stays with my mom on Shabbats. We don't leave her alone. It's a part of our family culture and commitment to my mom. So me and my husband and my 4 months baby were there. And my husband just told me, you're already here. You're a bit tired. It was midnight. We were watching the show after dinner and everything. Maybe you just stay here. And I never stayed the night at my mom's house. Never, because I'm afraid to sleep in Sderot. I always go back to my kibbutz. And on Shabbat morning, on Saturday morning, we return, we have coffee and breakfast with my mom. That's the ritual all the time.
Sure.
And my husband started to convince me, like, stay here, stay with your mom. I'll come first thing in the morning, 7 a.m. And I don't know, it's like, okay. And it was honestly the first time I spent the night with my baby at my mom's, because when I had my baby, my mom used to come to me because I wasn't able to be with my newborn in Sderot, although she has a bomb shelter and everything. So I stayed the night at my mom, and I wake up 6:30. We stayed at the bomb shelter, at the safe room, because it's a custom. If you're having a baby, you always spend the night for the entire of your life in the safe room, just in case.
And just so people know, most Israeli homes, everybody has a safe room because this type of thing can happen.
Yeah. So in Sderot, everyone has a safe room. It's a project made by the government in 2013. It was added even to older houses because you cannot survive in Sderot if you don't have a safe room. A lot of governmental money were invested in this, almost 1 billion shekels or something like this. In the contrary of what's happening in Gaza, I mean, because the money of the government there is not used to protect civilians.
Right.
So I wake up in 6:30 to most familiar voices and noises. of intercepting rockets of Iron Dome, falling rockets on houses, launching, because we were so close to Gaza, like less than half a mile. In Sderot, we hear the launching and the landing and the interception. So we hear the whole scenario. First thing comes to my mind, okay, I'm in the bed with my 4 months old baby, like, can't even describe.
Yeah.
First thing come to my mind, first fracture of a second is, okay, they started it off a surprise. It's a whole surprise. No Hamas terrorist was killed the other night. No conflict, no news, nothing. Like absolute terror. In a blast of a second, I say it will last for 10 minutes, like like always. I'm starting the car after 10 minutes and I'm running for my life because I'm not staying here. Okay, it's Saturday morning. It's Sukkot Simchat Torah holiday. It's like someone will bombarded the like the USA or the Christian community the night after Christmas. It's like it's craziness. It's pure evil. People are celebrating. So it doesn't end in 10 minutes. And I know Sderot, I was born there. I know Hamas for 20 years and Islamic Jihad and all the other organizations that are shooting. They never shoot longer than 10 minutes. So what's happening? Why are they keep shooting? And something in my mind starts to tell me that there's something different here. I go on WhatsApp groups of my friends and they're telling me, oh, we also have it. And it's 6:30 in the morning. And my friends are living in Tel Aviv and Netanya and Kiryat Ono and Herzliya. I was like,
much farther from the strip
they
for those not familiar
never
with that.
start firing for Tel Aviv. It's like they're saving it for worse. What has made them choose Sderot, Ashkelon, Tel Aviv, and all of Israel in 1 minute? There's something else going on here, because I also served in the army in the northern Gaza Strip, and I know that if they are using or spending all of their most facilitated weapons in one time, there's something going on the ground, and they're trying to like turn the I forgot the word, to disguise what's happening.
Okay.
Like they've done it before when they kidnapped Gilad Shalit in 2006. They fired hundreds of rockets in the sky to try to disguise what's happening underneath, and they actually managed to kidnap. So I was like, they never shoot more than 10 minutes. They never shoot to Tel Aviv on the first second. It always, it's like chronological, it has levels, something's happening. And it's 15 minutes passing, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't ever remember in 20 years of rockets since 2001. I do not remember 30 minutes of firing rockets. So I understand that something horrible is happening. And first call of my husband, I pick up the phone and I was like, oh, what a huge mistake. And he's like, I'm so sorry I convinced you to stay. And on the other end, like, I'm with my mom, so maybe, I don't know, it's meant to be. And we're talking about the rockets. We don't know anything yet, but we have a tiny baby. And I was like, what a mistake, what a mistake. Dan, my husband's name is Dan. It will be over in 10, 20 minutes, 40 minutes, the most. And I'm taking the car and my mom with me and the baby, Michael, and we will go to the kibbutz and we'll go to your parents in the center of Israel or something. And it's not over. They keep firing for almost 40 minutes or so. And then we start to get like all kinds of conspiracy, we think, conspiracy messages, texts of friends in Kfar Aza, our friends in Be'eri, our friends from the kibbutz, and one of my friends in my kibbutz says, they're saying there are terrorists inside Kfar Aza. So that was the first message.
And what do you think when you hear that? Do you think that
Fake
can't be?
news.
Yeah.
I can show you the group. It's a group of maternal leave girlfriends in my kibbutz. So her sister living Faraza. So she makes a forward on a message that her sister sends her, and it says terrorists in Faraza. And then my friend Michal says, it's my sister. I forwarded one of my sister's text messages, and we're like, Michal, it's fake. All of my friends, like, it's fake.
Yeah.
And we had penetrations before of terrorists all the time, but it was like amateur, 3 terrorists, 2 terrorists. It's nothing new. Even when I was a child, I remember before there was like tactic fence and stuff. Oh, terrorists crossed the border. Terrorists rain from the sea. Terrorists came on a rubber boat from Gaza. Like, we had those kind of stuff. It's
Sure.
not like, okay, terrorists in Gaza. Okay, 3 people maybe try to cross the fence. Okay, the IDF will take them over, and then I think my mom starts to get like text messages, and then the mayor of Sderot sends a community on the community app. Okay, so we're talking about a city of 30,000 people.
Yeah.
We're talking about a mayor that holds the job for 10 years. So we're talking about serious stuff. And he texts on the community app, on the city's application, dear civilians of Sderot, please remain in your houses, close the safe room door, and don't make a sound. There are terrorists in the city. And so that's when I started throwing up, and I thought I was about to die. So I throw up for like an hour straight. That has never happened to me. I have been in frightening situations before. I had rockets. When I was a child, we had no bomb shelters, no alarms. So I used to walk in Sderot and rockets used to fall. So in my understanding, I feared death before, I confronted death before, but I realized on Saturday morning that I never confronted death, as a matter of fact, until that moment. And then I start to get video clips. The news in Israel still don't know anything. The news in the world still don't broadcast anything. It's about 10 minutes past 7 in the morning of Saturday. And we start getting video clips of trucks in my neighborhood. In 2 seconds, I recognize the street, the house, the number of the street, the neighborhood. I was like, it's here? Oh, and that's the entrance? And that's the police station? And that's the supermarket? And that's the library? Wait. So 1, 2, how many trucks are there in Sderot? And I see terrorists wearing black, green ribbon of Hamas, Kalashnikovs, grenades, RPGs, tens of them in one truck, outside the windows, on the roof, on the rear truck. I was like, it's here. It's outside my window. And I start to lose it. And that's I tell my mom, like I was speechless. First time in my life, no words. I'm throwing up because my body feels that it's about to die. And when a body enters a survival mode, like the most extreme survival mode, like in the jungle, like 10,000, 3,000 years ago, it has to throw everything it has because the mind, the brain realizes it's gonna have to fight really hard now to survive.
And you have a little one with you. You have
That
your
I'm
baby.
breastfeeding,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my
that
goodness.
depends solely on me.
Right.
So obviously, my husband is having a panic attack that he's far from us. He sees the pictures. He doesn't want to tell me what he really knows because he doesn't want to frighten me, but we're under occupation. We have been like taking over. So I sent my friend from Sderot, who is a mother of 5, by the way, but she's a paramedic. So I know she has the WhatsApp group of the security forces.
Okay.
So because she's a paramedic, she has the special groups and messages of the life saving forces. I'm like, Liav, are there terrorists in Sderot? And she doesn't reply, and I see she's online. It's like, Liav, are they really in Sderot or am I daydreaming? She doesn't reply. I was like, Liav, I can see you're online. I know you can read my messages. Can you please tell me what's happening? And she's like, I didn't want to tell you, but they are attacking the police station and they have murdered all the police officers.
Oh my.
And we're a small town, so think about it in America's like terms of a small town of 30,000 people that has been taking the police station, the fire department, which is right next door, where my good friend's husband was murdered, Evgeny. He was a firefighter going on a shift on Saturday morning. They have murdered all the police officers and all the fire department's warriors. And that's it. It's a small town. You don't have an army.
Right.
You don't have another police station. It's not New York. Okay. It's not even a small town in America terms. It's a very small village.
Yeah.
And then my mom says, she doesn't know the truth. And my mom is very hysterical and she's over 60. I don't want to make her get a heart attack,
Right.
even though that's where we are. It's either a heart attack or being taken to Gaza, because we're starting hearing through my friends in the kibbutzim that they are taking people hostages to Gaza. We still don't know anything about the atrocities, about the rape, about the murders, about the abusing, torturing. We just know that they have entered kibbutzim. We know that they are killing. We know that they are burning people, that they're burning houses. And we know that they take people hostages. Well, we still don't know anything. We don't know that the fence have been totally broken. We don't know that Gazan civilians are entering and raping and stealing. We just know that there are several, I don't know, kibbutzim that have been under attack. We don't know that all the kibbutzim around us and that main roads were closed. So one of my friends that have been murdered, Dolev and his wife, they tried to do the same thing. They thought the alarms were over and they went on a car with their 2 little girls, 2 and 4 years old, and they said, okay, let's go to our to my mother-in-law in Rishon LeZion. And on their way out, they confronted the terrorist who murdered both mom and dad and didn't kill the girls, not because they have morals, only because the girls were hiding underneath the seats. So the main roads of people trying to escape and soldiers trying to enter, not the city, I'm talking about like main highways.
Yeah.
So they blocked the whole area, which is, that's why we understood that we were under like occupation for the next several hours.
Yeah.
So my mom receives a message from her sister that one of our colleagues lives in Sderot and tells her She sends a photo shot of him saying, the police officers in Sderot are begging for reinforcement. They are, not a lot of them are left. And my mom, due to denial and hard, and she was struggling to confront this information. So she tells me, what a nonsense. She looks at the phone. My sister's colleague is saying that the officers in Sderot are calling for help. This is, it's who's spreading this
Yeah.
fake news? And I already know the truth. And I'm telling her, yeah, no way the police station will be taking over. Of course, it's nonsense. And she's like, why are people spreading fake news these hours? And I already know the truth.
Right. My goodness.
So basically, this is 7:30, and it's being continue. I mean, it has been like this every fracture of information in every several minutes. Our neighbor was driving his Saturday routine morning trip with his motorcycle, and he got shot. He lives next to us, Avi, and he has 4 kids. And I'm not telling my mom because I'm afraid of her responses. She's having like a meltdown.
Yeah.
And we start to see on Facebook, because the situation is that there are no life saving forces, okay, no security forces. People are seeing terrorists in their street and they're calling the police, but there is no police. They took over the building, murdered men and women police officers, and took over the station, turning the Sderot police station into their headquarters.
Yeah. Oh.
And speaking to all the terrorists, sent to 22 kibbutzim and Ashkelon and Kiryat Gat, because they wanted to occupy until Kiryat Gat. So it's a large territory. And people are calling the police, and no one answers. And if someone answers, it's a Hamas terrorist in your hometown.
Can't
So imagine September 11 people calling the police, and bin Laden answers, hi, what do you need, New Yorker?
Yeah.
We're taking over the city. So that's the analogy. That's the feeling, as if Al-Qaeda took over all the NYPD station. This is what happened. This is the analogy for Americans to understand, because this is what happened. People are calling to save, to ask to save their lives, and the terrorists are picking up the phone. And the next station is the fire department, and people are like, okay, the police are not replying, I'll call the fire department. And the same case in there too. All the warriors of the fire department murdered, they're picking up the phone there. So you start to feel like you're in a Hitchcock movie in the worst way, where you are with your kids on a holiday and you're calling the only people that you know that can save you, and your nightmare is picking up the phone. Only after that, I think in hour 2, we realized that they also killed and murdered all the soldiers in the region. So I served there, and I was like, okay, but where's the army? Because my friends from Gaza are telling me, Sivan, I hear shooting outside. I hear Arabs calling. I hear Allah Akbar. I hear screaming. I smell smoke. Where is the army? I was like, no way. I served there. I know, like, how many soldiers supposed to be, in how many time can they reach the scene of event? What's happening? And we understand. We still don't hear about the party, but we understand that out of 300, 400, 600, 700 soldiers that's supposed to be there, 100% of them are dead. Okay, so 100% of the platoons, men, women, 19-year-old, 20-year-old teenagers that just joined the army, okay, the observant the warriors, the tanks, and then we start to see like bases taking over with Palestinian flag. And so what it does to your mind on a psychological element is beyond something I can explain.
Yeah. I
So
can't
it's
even
the
imagine.
only analogy I can give is like on September 11, you see the Pentagon with a Palestinian flag and terrorists taking over the Pentagon. So the only rescue you can hope for is also taking over, and that's it. And your life is gonna be over. And I start to think that either I'm gonna be dead if they enter my street. Dead is not the worst option, but it's the best option because I've I probably would be tortured, raped, forced to see my mother, my child tortured as
Right.
well, and then maybe dead or kidnapped to Gaza. So I start to think in a way I never thought a Jewish person would ever think again, but I started thinking Holocaust surviving means
Yeah.
as if I'm calling my brother, Jacob, how do I open the attic in mom's house?
Mm.
Because I need to hide my baby there. Or I start to check all kinds of cabinets, or I lift the bed to see if I can hide my baby there in a way he won't suffocate. So around 8:30, when we start to understand that hundreds of soldiers are dead, the roads are closed, so every tank, hammer, every soldier or police officer that tries to get and save the scene is being killed. We understand the numbers of hundreds, if not thousands, of terrorists entered and invaded the area, not kibbutz, not city. It's a
Whole
region.
region.
It's a state, if in American history, a
Yeah.
state, a small region.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting to think how I'm saving my baby, hoping he won't cry, hiding him in a very dangerous, harming way for him,
Mm-hmm.
hoping that when the IDF enters a few hours or a day after, they will find him like in the Holocaust, like
Right.
exactly like in the Holocaust. Like I know that I will have to sacrifice myself in order to maybe let my mom and my baby hide and tell the terrorists I'm the only one in the house and I'm willing to make this sacrifice. I mean, that's where my mind is at
Yeah.
Saturday morning, 8:39, because I know they are entering houses in Sderot. I know they have killed my neighbor. I know they've killed Dolev and Odea, my childhood friends, next to their two infants. And I know they've killed the elderly pension people going on a trip next to the public library.
Mm.
They've killed like 80 years old women going on a vacation in the head. So I was like, I'm next. And I'm looking in the peephole of
Yeah.
the door,
Yeah.
just waiting. And all of a sudden, I start to think, oh, there are no bars in my mom's house.
Uh,
But even if there were bars, because I'm asking my friends from the kibbutzim in Kfar Aza and Be'eri, and they're like, if you have bars, they will burn the house and burn you out.
mm.
Same way they did in Benghazi, by the way. It made me remember the ambassador that
Right.
was in Benghazi in the protected house, and they were in the safe room of the safe room of the safe room. And what they did eventually was to burn the house and burn them away.
Same
So
thing.
it's same thing, same terror, Al-Qaeda, Taliban, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Benghazi, Afghanistan, Libya, whatever,
Yeah.
Gaza.
Yeah.
So
So you eventually, obviously you're safe, but how did that happen? I mean, you're looking through the peephole waiting. Do
I'm
they
waiting.
they pass your home?
So my parents' house is a dead end street.
Okay.
On the one hand, it's it's good because it's not on the road. You have to actively enter the street. On the other hand, a dead end street is that street you'll have to go house by house,
Right.
and then a house by house on your way out. So it's a 50-50. If they enter the street, they will kill everyone in the small street. And if they just cross pass it, then we're safe. Nothing but God these moments. This is also the mutual feeling of everyone I've spoken to in these moments, because it's the first time in our history, not the Jewish history, because we have had times like this where you are left alone, capital letters, alone. No world assistant, no security forces, no army.
Right.
No army for the Jewish state. No police officers, no one. And the only one you can hope for the savior of is God. So that's the only thing you hope for, is for God to hear you, and eventually even people that define themselves as non-religious, don't practice, I'm sure that in their last breath, or in the moments before they were saved, they knew they had no one to turn into other than God.
Right.
And in a way, it simplifies the meaning of a lot of things that the Jewish people have been through.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that in the Holocaust, the rabbinites and the very secular people at these moments that had nobody looked up to the sky like, please,
You're my only
help
hope.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally the only hope. First time in my life that it was literally the only hope for thousands, tens of thousands of people that day. So we turn off all the lights, of course, survival mode, no air conditioner, no coffee, no running water, no water in the toilet, make zero noise. Shaking, obviously, the physics situation in that day was horrible. Shaking, sweating, throwing up, hearing the shooting outside our window. A Kalashnikov shooting. It's not rockets. You literally hear like weapons outside your window, and you don't know. And you hear the fights of the people that had weapon in Sderot, that trying to fight the terrorists. And we turn off all the lights. We don't drink. We don't eat. We don't turn AC. We don't turn television. We don't turn anything. My battery ran out. At a point, I didn't have charger. So we're in the,
And your mother, she knows by this time.
She knows.
That
I
it's
always
here.
try to keep facts from her. Like Kobe Pariante, and my mother was a teacher for 40 years. So one of her students, Kobe Pariante, was murdered he was in a running team. He was, that was his hobby, running Saturday mornings. Him and Naomi, another woman from Sderot, were murdered at zero distance. So I try to hide these things from her, but she's on Facebook and she's like seeing things I don't see. She was able to comprehend at the time because it was unreal.
Right. So big. It hasn't happened before. And this seems unbelievable.
Never in the history of the Jewish people, not on Jewish land.
Right.
I mean, Holocaust and then the state of Israel, for things like this to not happen, no one could even imagine in his worst nightmares that something like this could have happened. So I think a lot of people were overfloated and overwhelmed with information that they were not very able to comprehend,
Hmm.
that your neighbor was murdered, your former student, this mother, this friend, my mother's friend daughter, and it's not something you can bear.
Yeah.
And okay, so we're getting messages sometimes from our mayor. We know he's outside. He just put up his vest and went outside to try to fight the terrorists.
Mm.
We're constantly texting with my friends from the kibbutzim. Actually, very close friends of mine are from Erez, Kfar Aza, Nir Am, and Be'eri, which are four kibbutzim around Erez and Nir Am. Emergency teams were able to kill the terrorists that tried to invade their kibbutz. In Kfar Aza and Be'eri, unfortunately, we know suffered atrocities, murders,
Yeah.
you know, burning kids alive and all kinds. And I'm speaking to my friends over there, only to find out 2 days later with them that while we spoke, their parents were murdered,
Mm.
their brother was murdered with his two kids. So while we're speaking, even they don't know, because they're married, they have their own house with their kids, and their parents live there, and their brother lives there. And so
Mm.
we don't even know. And it starts to get dark. The hours go by very fast that day. Like, and I see it's 6:30 in the evening, and I was like, it's 12 hours past the invasion. How come they did not finish this event? And
Yeah.
we are hearing that they are still having fights in Faraza and Berry, still entering houses, doing
Mm.
the most horrible things that I can't even call them human beings,
Right.
that these monsters can do. And I still hear my friends, they're burning the house beneath me. My wife can't contact her dad. And like, it's 7 p.m. I can still, we still know that there are terrorists that are in Sderot. They are, some of them are hiding in the police station. So they bring a D9 tractor and they're destroying the police station building, and then the terrorist escapes.
Mm.
So we're in a psychological movie, a thrill, if you like,
Yeah.
that we don't want to be in.
Right.
And it's getting dark, and still the same orders: remain in your houses, turn off the lights, don't make any noise. We don't have all the terrorists yet. We don't even know how many terrorists invaded.
Mm.
Some of them can even be on their way to Tel Aviv. Some of them can hide in my backyard.
Right.
I don't know. All the platoons of the Northern Gaza IDF platoons were killed. So you have to like repost all of those.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Um, And then when the night falls, they start the launching of the rockets massively on Sderot, trying to hurt the security forces' efforts of locating the terrorists.
Mhm.
My baby on that day slept a lot,
Mm. Thank
surprisingly.
God.
Some psychologists I've spoken to told me it was his way of helping me, or a natural reaction. He slept during the whole day,
Mm.
like a lot. Just ate and slept and ate and slept. No games, no interaction too much, and he also kept sleeping at night. But the massively launching of rockets that night made him like, I couldn't sleep, obviously. No one in Sderot could sleep.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of people in Israel still can't sleep till this day. And I see his body shrinking or jumping out of every
Wow.
rocket, out of sleep. Out of sleep. He just like, his body is making this irrational reaction to the
To the bombs.
to the
To the rockets.
explosions, to
Yeah.
the bombings. And I look at him And I say that is exactly why I wasn't willing in any way to have children here. And it's a sad thing to say. And most of my friends, if not all of them, do have kids and families of 5 and 4 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able. I see his body jumping. Why does he deserve it? What on earth did he do to have to live this experience of thousands of rockets on you at age of 4 months?
Yeah.
Something that the body cannot handle.
Right.
A body of a baby that is supposed to build himself and build the brains and the neurons and the muscles and the posture. And he has to deal with explosions over his head of missiles. It's crazy to anyone thinking about it. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
So morning comes, still massive launching of rockets, and we still get messages that there are terrorists in the city next to the cemetery. They're hiding in houses, in ditches. I don't know. And it's 9, and it's 10, and it's 11, and I tell my mom that if we don't leave Sderot now, we won't be able to leave because they have launched rockets for almost 12 hours straight
Yeah.
in order to kill the soldiers that are coming to the region to repost and rebuild the forces in the area. And so they've stopped around 10:30, 11. I tell my mom, if we don't leave, I don't know when is the next time we will be able to leave. I heard ambulances got hit. I heard no police station, no police cars. The army is having trouble to still confront the terrorists in Kfar Aza. So we're talking about 24 hours after it began. I'm telling my mom, this is something we have never experienced. We've been through all the wars.
Sure.
Either when I was a soldier or as a civilian, as a citizen of Sderot. I'm telling my mom, this is not something we know. Not cast lead, pillar of defense, protective edge, nothing like it. It's something else. Let's get out. I cannot be here. My milk isn't sufficient because I'm in deeply stressed.
Right.
I cannot, everything I eat or drink, immediately I throw up. I need to feed my baby. It's dangerous. He doesn't get what he needs. I can't feed him because I don't have anything in me because my body can't handle it. And my mom is super freaked out, traumatized to her bones. So she's like, let's wait, because she can't make a decision.
Right.
I was like, pack a bag now. You're leaving and you're probably not going to be back here in months. And she's like, it's another round, 3-4 days, 3-4 weeks, whatever, I'll be back. I was like, Mom, you're not going to be back here in months. And this is her home.
Yeah.
Okay. She's a 62-year-old woman who, like 60 plus people that can leave their house for a year. Like, yeah, it's a war zone. I'll look for a place to be. I mean, it's crazy to think about. And alarms go off here and there. I tell her, we're not buckling Michael, my baby. We're not putting him in a safe seat. Listen, this is what we do. You're sitting in the back seat, you're holding him tight, and no matter what happens, you don't let him go and you don't look out the car, because I didn't want her to see bodies and crashed cars and burned cars and blood.
Sure.
And that was the mission. I told her, we're not opening the window, because even if there's an alarm, I'm not stopping, because the terrorist could be hiding in the public bomb shelters.
Sure.
If I see a terrorist, I'm running him down. So be aware. I'm telling my mom, don't be afraid. If I see a terrorist, I'm running him down. If there's an alarm, we don't stop, and I'm gonna drive 150 miles per hour.
Mm.
And you close your eyes, you hold the baby tight, and let's do it. All of this time, I didn't mention my sister is with her boyfriend 2 streets from us. She had terrorists in her street. They have a dog. They used to make him, they needed to make him and themselves pee in the safe room because they couldn't even go out the
Mm.
safe room for toilet, to drink, for the dog. So they stayed in the safe room for almost 48 hours. And by this time, I'm telling them, you leave with us. And my sister, she's shaking. She can't even pick up the phone. She's telling me, I cannot drive. You leave, rescue yourself. Let's hope we'll be fine.
Mm.
And all the streets is with special forces and terrorists inside houses. And she's crying because she can't drive. And even though she's 2 streets from us, that's the 2 streets where terrorists are still hiding. So I cannot go and rescue my sister.
Right.
I know I'm going into a trap.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking to her boyfriend, and we tell him, Yochai, you need to be brave. You need to take a risk. We know it's dangerous, but you have to leave Sderot now. And that's what we do. And we say farewell to each other, and we say, be strong, let's do it, and let's talk when we are in the next safe junction next to my kibbutz, which is 7 miles from the Gaza Strip. And I tell my mom, let's go. And we lock the house, we go on the car, and I drive like a psycho.
Yeah.
If someone would have seen me, no bumpers, no turns, just driving 150 miles per hour, seeing all of the city's destruction on the way. Bodies, minivans sprayed with bullets, motorcycles on the way, bloodstains on the road, burnt cars that got stuck in electric poles because their drivers were murdered, so they lost control of the vehicle. All of the all everything you can imagine about a war zone. And all the lights of the roads were, I mean, red, green. You don't even pay attention.
Mm.
You just run, literally running for my life
Yeah.
for the first time, unfortunately, running or driving for my life. And we get to the kibbutz. And I did this because I also knew that my husband, which was in this situation for almost 48 hours, unable to rescue his wife and his son, which is his only mission in life.
Right.
He was in worse condition than myself
I'm
because
sure.
he felt so hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, unable to do anything.
Yeah.
And so I knew that he was on his way to get us, and I didn't want him to enter Sderot. And the way to my kibbutz is a lot of fields. So I know if terrorists are hiding somewhere, because Sderot has forces now, it's in the fields. So I'm taking the risk. And we made it to the kibbutz. And, you know, a lot of crying. We met with my sister, who arrived 2 minutes after us.
Mm.
A lot of alarms on the way. We don't pay attention. We see the rockets. We keep moving. And so the feeling in the kibbutz was also very weird. We are starting to get more information and comprehension about what's happening in the neighbored kibbutzim, about what's happening for Gaza, Be'eri, Nir Oz. We are shocked and terrified to our bones. We don't know believe. We still hope it's fake news. We start to get images. We are in national shock. The whole country has never faced something like this before. I don't know which other country has faced something like this. I hope no one, but and I'm telling my husband, I can't stay here. I cannot stay in the South, the place where I was born, my family was born, my grandparents are buried there, my father is buried in Sderot. I cannot stay in the South. Something has happened here that has never happened before. I want to go to your parents, to my parents-in-law in the center near Netanya, near Herzliya.
Yeah.
It's a safe zone. And eventually we go there with my mom and my sister and my husband's ex-wife and kids, because my husband has two older kids
Okay.
from previous marriage, and they live in one of the kibbutzim too. And I tell him, this is a special time. It's nothing that we've ever experienced before. You tell your ex-wife and her family and the kids that we're all going together. And like this, a group of 20 people, 5 cars, we went in a row to the center, and there we stayed for 2 weeks. And I can tell you that everyone that came with us from the South, we couldn't close our eyes for a second.
I'm sure.
We kept and we still keep dreaming that terrorists are coming to the house where we're staying, bombing the safe room's door with an RPG,
Yeah.
taking us hostages to Judea and Samaria, to Ramallah, rape us, murder us, beheading us. Everywhere we go, we didn't leave the house at all. But even in my mother-in-law tells me, Sivan, stop it. It's different here. I was like, no, they're coming for us. Like it's that is our state of mind.
Yeah.
So regarding psychological aspect, we're not even there yet. Like we don't even know how to and when we will, go back to our life,
Yeah.
to sleep, to dream something that is not terrorist. And I'm speaking to my friends abroad, my friends from Vegas, and they tell me that even though they live in America, they were born in America, they have dreams about people, Nazis, Hamas, entering their house, taking them, killing them.
Well, can we talk about that for a minute? Because you right now are speaking to me from a European country, we won't mention which one, and you went there because you wanted to escape, obviously, what's happening in Israel. And yet you were telling me before we started recording the mindset of a lot of Israelis, including yourself, prior to going to Europe, about what they would face, what you would face outside of Israel, that in some ways might be more dangerous than even being in the central part of Israel. Can you just briefly speak to that?
Yeah, when I was in shock for the first 2 weeks, a week and a half, like nonstop. Like I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't do anything, and I wanted, like every night I used to tell my husband, I have to go on a plane. I have to, and just to mention, I had a fear of flights before. In the past 3-4 years, I don't go on planes because I used to have a phobia, which after facing a real fear of death, completely vanished.
Really?
By the way, but it's not a solution for. I don't recommend this
No, definitely
treatment
not.
for anyone, but it's a side effect. So I'm telling my husband, I wanna go somewhere, the east, like Thailand, whatever. And my brother, my older brother, calls me. You're not going anywhere. If I'll hear you're going anywhere, I'll come to the airport. They will arrest me because I would not let you go out of the country. My friends from the US are telling me they are buying arms, they are buying weapons. things are gonna get serious for Jews outside of Israel. You don't leave the country. And he's like, okay, oh my God. And because I'm traumatized to my soul, I'm traumatized from anything that people tells me. Like,
Sure.
okay, Hezbollah is about to attack, I lose my breath.
Mm.
Okay, if I go to Europe, okay, Berlin is not safe, I'm losing my breath. So like the feeling that got into me and a lot of Israelis and Jews is that we don't have a place to be, that the ring of anti-Semitism or anti-whatever is closing on us and choking us, okay? Because if I'm not safe in Israel, obviously, after what I've experienced, and I don't have a safe, any space in the planet of Earth,
Right.
so what, I mean, what? Am I going to live on Mars? Are we going to to populate? What are we going to do? What do they want from us? What have we done? This is the feeling. The feeling is that you don't have any place to go. No island. New Zealand, Australia is filled with anti-Israel protesters.
Right.
Every country in Europe, USA, Canada, South America, you start to think, you start to number countries, and you see that each and every one of them has anti-Israel, anti-Jewish elements and protesters on the streets, hate crimes, signs. That's even before the kidnap posters and the ripping them off. It's in the first days you
Right.
start to realize that as a Jew, an Israeli, you don't have any place to be. And also, I'm seeing on social media, actually, I'm starting to pay notice that a lot of my students who are Jews in Vegas and LA don't post anything. It's like if nothing is happening, I'm texting them. I'm like, what's up? I'm texting their parents, and their parents tell me I'm ashamed of my son. I don't know what happened to my daughter. They won't post anything, but they post their Starbucks affair that day and their what a baby shower, whatever.
Is it
And
fear? Is it
it's
fear
of
of?
course it's fear. It's exactly what happened in Germany
Yeah.
100 years ago, where people thought that because they are secular or look
I
alike,
see.
so it won't get to me.
So
This
it's not
student
a.
has
It's
a
not necessarily.
protest. This student has a bar. This student married a Christian, Muslim, whatever. So it won't get to me. But what Hitler did is he went at least 3 generations back.
Yeah.
So we won't escape from it by remaining silent. This is worse than anything that has happened to us. Is this happening again? This silent, and I tell them, my non-Jewish friends are speaking loudly than you cowards. And I'm using these words because I'm super, super angry
Yeah.
that they think that if they live in America, it won't get to them. And surprisingly, it's happening to them. Second of all, their kids, because of them, their kids won't be able to attend any college,
Yes.
Ivy League college in the States. And it's not because of me or because of you. It's because of them.
Sivan, I want to ask you just in closing here. First of all, thank you for sharing your experience. Honestly, I didn't realize when I asked you to come on the podcast how closely connected you were, what your experience was. What we're seeing, though, is that throughout the world, initially international news coverage and here in the U.S., it was on the side of Israel. And it almost seemed too good to be true, and it was, because what we've seen is very quickly the narrative turned, and now we have a lot of bleeding hearts for Gaza. And, you know, I to some extent, sure, I don't want to see any human suffering. But in light of what's happened, my concern is not Gaza. My concern is the Jewish people. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of misinformation, and outright lies being circulated about Israel right now in the media, on social media. As an Israeli, what do you want the world to know that they're missing?
So I am going to speak about Palestinian suffering.
Yeah.
or Gaza suffering in that subject, because what we're seeing on CNN, BBC, MSNBC is exactly what Hamas wants us to see. We all know, I hope that people that are listening to us know about the human shields that the Palestinian kids and women are using for the terrorists. So I always said, when I used to guide delegations in Sderot more than 10 years ago, I used to call it a win-win situation for Hamas, for terrorists, and a lose-lose situation for the West. And it's gonna happen the same in the West. The West is next. It's a hashtag, but unfortunately, it's gonna become reality.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation, because if Israel don't retaliate, they won. If Israel does retaliate, they won bigger,
Right.
because they have pictures of dead children. It doesn't even matter if it's directed or not. I mean, if they directed the photo, if it's real or not. We know that civilians are being killed, not because of Israel, because we're actually losing soldiers and investing money and technology to pinpoint the terrorists. But they win even bigger because they have what bleeds leads,
Yes.
pictures to show to the world. So that's something that the West and the Western mind cannot concept. Okay, one of the terrorists, he's a wrestler from Dagestan, one of the country that made the mob in the airport. They have a wrestler, a very famous one, and he posted on Instagram, you cannot defeat a nation that knows that death is only the beginning. So this sentence has it all, because how can you defeat a nation that is educating kids in schools, that their target, their main goal in life, their most sacred thing that they can do is die, and that's only when they start living.
Right.
How can you win when you have all the Western world that wants to live and prosper and have kids and donate to the world and do good things on one hand, and you have a few million or several million people that wants to die only to start their life? So I think the only way is education, and the West should interfere, be involved in education in the Muslim world firsthand on what's happening on American soil. Because I hear from my friends that they go to mosques and they hear in America anti-Jewish preaching
Sure.
day after day, not today, not because of this attack,
All the
but
time.
always. So firsthand, check what's happening on the greatest nation on earth that is planned to be taken over by Islamic State. Islamic State is ISIS. This is the initials. Okay, this is the goal. So I think what I want Israelis to what I think Israelis want the world to know, I think they want the world to wake up and realize and start seeing parallel things between what's happening to Israel and what's happened in Madrid bombs and London and Marseille and Nice and Toulouse and September 11 and Boston Marathon. And just one question they should ask themselves: how many Jewish terror organizations can they name?
Right.
And how many Muslim terror organizations can they name? They can have this question and debate with themselves, and that's the only answer they need.
Well, Sivan, I want to thank you for your taking the time to talk with me. As you know, I'm a follower of Jesus, and in the New Testament, he talks about in the last days there being a time, frankly, not terribly unlike what you've experienced, and he tells his followers, he says, when I was that they're blessed, and he says, you're blessed because when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was sick, you clothed me. Goes through this, and they say, when did we see you, naked and you weren't clothed? And when did we see you hungry? And he says, when you did it to the least of these, my brethren. Now, Jesus was a Jew, and his brethren are your people. And so as I hear your story, I can't help but think of those words and just think, I want my Christian listeners especially to know this is the time to act. This is the time to wake up. It is the time to be a blessing to the Jewish people, Israeli, American, wherever they may live, to be a blessing to them. And I've been talking with many, many Christians in the last month who have expressed to me their sincere love for your people. I want you to know that there are, with all the media reports we hear about people who are pro-Hamas here in the U.S., and there are many, we shouldn't discount those. There are so many.
Reported.
Yes, they should be. Yes. But there are many true followers of Jesus who love your people and are stepping up and doing whatever they can to help you.
It warms our hearts deeply. I can honestly say it really, really, really means so much more than you can ever understand.
Well, thank you, Sivan, and I think these days especially calls for a good Am Yisrael Chai.
Amen. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Gesher, a ministry outreach production of FOI Equip, your free resource for learning and engaging with the scriptures from a Jewish perspective. To learn more, visit foiequip.org. And for more information about Ty, visit foi.org/Perry. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Shalom.